about that?
I'm aware that the Turkish government continued to press the federal government with regard to seeking the return of Mr. Gulen to Turkey.
Did you know
and our
that
department had a role to play in that, although I'm not at liberty to discuss the details of that.
Did you know that the Turkish government allegedly offered $15 million for Mr. Flynn to kidnap Mr. Gulen?
Absolutely not. You mean it? No.
On
Time of the gentlewoman has expired. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Iowa, Mr. King, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, General Sessions, for your testimony here today and your service to our country over the years that you have been front and center. And a number of things I wanted to discuss. One of them is the DACA situation. And it seems, as I recall, they had made a public statement some time back about the constitutionality of the policy that was implemented by President Obama. Would you care to reiterate that position today?
Well, the president, President Obama indicated multiple times that he felt that DACA, he didn't have the power to do DACA in the way it was done. And eventually, they must have changed their mind and executed this policy to take persons who are in the country unlawfully and to give them lawful status, work permits, and even participation in Social Security. So I felt for some time that that was not proper. A federal district court in Texas so held, and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals also so held that it was unlawful. So what happened was we helped work on the research, but the Department of Homeland Security withdrew the policy because it was not defensible in my view.
And established a date to close it down of March 5th, I think, of next year?
That's right. The Homeland Security asked for time to wind this program down, and I thought that was appropriate.
And there's a lot of public dialogue about what kind of legislation might be passed in conjunction with the DACA policy. And that's up in the air right now. I'm noticing that Democrats are saying we're going to have everything we want on DACA or we'll shut the government down. So it causes me to think about what should happen if Congress reaches an impasse and there is no passage of any legislation to extend the DACA policy. If the president should decide on or before that March 5th date, around that period of time, that he wants to extend the DACA policy, what would your position be at that time?
Well, that's hypothetical, Senator King. I don't think I should speculate on that, but I do think Congress will have to give it thought. We have a law now. It's in place. It's Congress passed, and Congress would have to change it.
And I would just remark that I'm watching a lot of people be rewarded for violation of the rule of law, and I appreciate your emphasis on rule of law in your testimony today, multiple times coming back to that point.
Mr. King, I would just say it is correct in my view, and I think you probably share it, that something is lost whenever you provide an amnesty. It's a price will be paid if that's done, but sometimes circumstances are such it may need to be done, but we need to be careful.
Thank you. And we've been made aware here in this committee that there's a significant backlog in immigration cases. Have you presented any request to Congress or a statement that could inform us as to how many resources you might need, how many judges you might need to get this backlog caught up, and then an idea how many we might need to maintain an anticipated level?
That's a very good question. Yes, we've worked on it. We have some preliminary information. We're seeking a total of about 360, 70 judges. We've added about 50 to the total. We've shortened the time process for selecting people, not shortening the training program, and we're adding judges. I would say on the backlog, it's gone up dramatically. It's now over 600,000. But the last 2 or 3 months, we're almost not adding to the backlog. And I'm told by the additional work we're doing by January, we will not be adding to the backlog, but hopefully reducing it. That would be a real change in the trends that we were heading on.
Well, thank you.